Hi there, my name is Lisa. I'm the teen librarian at the Tigard Public Library. These are my hands. They have recently been in a scooter accident, but they're healing quite well, thank you very much. I wanted to show you how to make wire-wrapped rings. Here's some examples. This is an easy craft for beginners to wire wrapping. It's something you can create using tools around your house, especially if you have wire, and they're super cute. You can customize them to any size, and here we go. Let me show you the tools you need for this job. All right, wire. Wire is essential for any wire wrapping project. At least 22 gauge. If you're like me and you've been at home forever, it's been at least 10 years, or maybe just 3.5 months, you haven't made a lot of trips to the craft store. So I think that this is 22 gauge wire. I long ago lost the label for it. It will do for this craft. It will come out lovely, even if the gauge is slightly smaller, which it might be. You will need some sort of beads or buttons. Here's some lovely examples. Are you seeing these lovely examples? If you're using buttons, choose the type of button that has a hole underneath. It's a little easier to deal with than the type that has the holes that go all the way through the button. You will need wire cutters. Snip, snip. You will need pliers. Go ahead and grab just every type of plier you have in the house, because you never know what you're going to need for wire work, but needle nose for sure. You will need some way to measure and form your ring. Now, if you are lucky enough to have a mandrel in the house, that is a tool that's used to measure and form rings. Great. If not, you can use a marker or a dowel, anything you have around, especially if it's tapered. It works especially well for this project. What you want to do is find a ring that fits you the way you like rings to fit. This one's a pinky ring. And find a dowel that is slightly bigger than that fit. This is slightly bigger, the ring won't fit over it. That's going to be what you need to size your ring correctly, one hopes. So let's begin. I'm going to use this adorable little button. I'm going to save my dowel. I'm going to grab my wire and my wire cutters. You need about at least a 2-foot length of wire. Now, if you have too little wire, you're in trouble. If you have too much, it's no problem. So be generous. Clip that off. Here we go, here's my wire. First thing I'm gonna do is string my button on so it's in the middle of this length of wire. It doesn't have to be exact, but as close to the middle as I can get it. Okay. Then take my dowel, hold the button onto it and the wire onto it, and then I start wrapping the wire around it. Got 2 sides to the wire, 2 lengths, and you're going to wrap them in opposite directions. This one that way. And just hold it taut as you're wrapping. And one the other way. One way and the other way, at least 4 times. You might want to go more than 4 times. If you do, then you want a bigger dowel. Okay, squish those wires together. Squish. And now I'm going to start wrapping around the base of the ring. So I take the wire under the base of the ring, I wrap, pulling it taut, and then take the other wire, wrap in the opposite direction. Again, pulling it taut. At this point, I can slide the ring off of the mandrel, put the mandrel aside, and this way I can see a little better as I'm wrapping. I want to wrap at least 4 or 5 times, maybe more. It's up to aesthetics. Just remember that wrapping makes the ring a little bit smaller. Okay, digging the way that looks. If you can, or if you have a tapered dowel or a mandrel, slide the ring back on it. That will help you form the wire. Now, as you can see, my ring's already too small to slide back onto the dowel, but if it was tapered, I would be able to do that. That's okay. I don't mind shaping it on the mandrel as a way to get these wires to be fairly parallel. I actually like them when they're grouped together. So now we're going to do the wraps that will hold the ring together. Starting on one side, I'm going to go, you'll see that there's one wire pointing up, one wire pointing down. I'm actually going to start with the wire that's pointing up. This is a little bit shorter. And I'm going to go through the ring, being careful not to kink the wire. Wire is metal, and metal has memory. So it's forgiving, but sometimes those kinks can be hard to unkink. And again, this is another thing that's aesthetics, but you want to do it at least 3 or 4 times. You can also, especially if you give yourself a little more wire, wrap all the way around the ring, which is another groovy look. I have kind of a shorter length of wire here. So I'm going to wrap it four times, and then I'm going to move my wrap back up towards the base of the ring. Okay, and now in the opposite direction. Through, my wraps came out pretty tight on here, but you might want to take your pliers, squeeze the wire wraps together. Okay. I'm going to move this last wrap back towards the base of the ring. Okay, I'm almost done. Almost done, folks. This is a very customizable experience. You can end your project here, or you can keep wrapping. And I am going to give this a couple more wraps around the base of the ring. Okay. Once you get to a happy stopping point, grab your wire cutters again. Snip off the end of your wires, making sure that your wires are still close to the base of your button. If you have sandpaper or a nail file, you can use it to smooth out the sharp end of that wire. And then take your pliers, just tuck the wire in somewhere into the wrap. I'm trying to be gentle because I'm using a color wire that has a finish on it that can be scratched. This is craft wire, it's not high quality metal. Okay, the other side. All right. I'm going to keep working with the end of those wires to get a good finish, but this is basically a wire wrapped ring. Let's see how I got the fit. It's perfect. Perfect fit for my pinky. If you have craft wire sitting around your house, there's all kinds of magical things you can do with it. You can make yourself something like this. You can wire wrap a baby spoon. You can make little bird's nest charms. All kinds of things you can do. If you follow these instructions and make something at home, please take a picture and post it and share it with us. I hope you are all well. Stay safe. Enjoy your summer. So long.